Support for this episode comes from Dexcom.
Let's talk about comfort and ease because those really matter. Dexcom G7 is easy and painless to apply, easy to set up, and even easier to use. My son says half the time he forgets he's even wearing it. It's also the most accurate CGM system available, and it fits seamlessly into your life, connecting with smartphones, watches, and health apps. G7 warms up fast, has a new 15-day version for adults, and with a 12-hour grace period at the end, you can swap it when it's convenient. It's simple, powerful, and built to help you stay on track. Head to Dexcom.com to learn more. Welcome to another week of Diabetes Connections. I'm your host, Stacey Simms, and this is an In the News episode where we bring you the top diabetes stories and headlines happening now. A reminder, you can find the sources and links and a transcript and much more for every story mentioned here in the show notes. Head on over to diabetes-connections.com and click on this episode's homepage. You can also find the show notes in just about any podcast app that carries the show. Thank you for those of you who reached out. I am definitely feeling better. I think my voice sounds a lot better. That lingering cold is gone, but I am still recovering from nonstop travel for the past 5 weeks. It was just amazing. We had Mom's Night Out in Nashville this past weekend. So wonderful to meet all of you there. I have a great stretch of time here at home, so I'm looking forward to that. But I am traveling again at the very end of March. I will be going to Las Vegas for their Brekathorugh T1D Summit. I hope to see some of you there. And we have 2 Club 1921 events in April, Atlanta and Philly. You are up next. Before we jump into the news, one more thing. I need your community commercials. These have been a lot of fun. I announced them late last year. Your voice, your product, your community effort on the show. All the instructions, and I promise it is very easy. It's as easy as leaving a voicemail message. You can do this very simply. All the instructions are in the show notes. I know a lot of you have been meaning to do this. Get on it. I need them, and they're going to be first come, first serve. Our top story in the news this week, a biotech company developing stem cell treatments for type 1 has announced a new research partnership aimed at improving the survival of transplanted insulin-producing cells. New Cell X, a clinical stage company based in Switzerland, says it will work with Eledon to study a combination approach. A lot of you have asked me about Eledon. They've been in the news quite a lot lately and on social media. The companies haven't released any safety or effectiveness data on the combo treatment, but this is focused on exploring whether stem cell-derived islets combined with targeted immune therapy could lead to longer-lasting cell transplants and improved outcomes for people with type 1. Big debate this week in the UK on whether testing for type 1 should be mandatory when children present with symptoms. This debate will consider calls for routine testing of babies, toddlers, and young children. It follows a petition dubbed Lyla's Law that was launched by the father of 2-year-old Lyla, who died of DKA back in May of last year, 16 hours of being diagnosed with tonsillitis, but they did not check for T1D, despite her having the classic symptoms. A new study suggests that people with gestational diabetes who adjust their own insulin doses may reach healthy blood sugar levels faster than those whose doses are adjusted by clinicians. Half of the participants in this study were assigned to adjust their own doses using a simple rule: increase the dose by 2 units if fasting blood glucose was above 95, decrease it by 2 if it dropped below 70, keep the same dose if it fell in between. The other half had insulin adjusted by clinicians through weekly reviews. By the end of pregnancy, both groups had similar average fasting glucose levels, but those adjusting their own insulin reached their blood sugar targets more quickly, 1.8 weeks compared with 2.5 weeks. And the study also found lower risks of certain complications among the patient-led group. The blockbuster anti-obesity and diabetes drug Semaglutide could cost as little as $3 per month to manufacture once it goes off patent later this month, according to researchers. Semaglutide, of course, is in Ozempic and Wegovy. It's going to lose patent protection in some countries, Brazil, China, India, later this month, and it was never patented in 150 countries. The branded form sells for around $200 a month in the U.S. One of the study authors says drugs to treat HIV and malaria and hepatitis are now available at prices close to production costs in many countries, but they still cost enough for generic manufacturers to operate. interesting to watch. Here in the U.S., the FDA is stepping up its efforts to combat widespread GLP-1 drug compounding. The agency has sent a new set of 30 warning letters targeting telehealth companies, it says, make false or misleading claims about compounded versions of popular obesity drugs. The FDA says compounded drugs can be important for overcoming shortages or meeting unique patient needs, but compounders should, quote, not try to compound drugs in a way that circumvents FDA's approval process. Check your infusion sets for an issue. Uno Medical, a subsidiary of Convatec and a supplier of insulin infusion sets, has received a warning letter from the FDA. This is about concern with leaking sets. Uno Medical supplies to Medtronic, Tandem, and Beta Bionics, and they said this is all about reporting procedures and quality protocols. Uno Medical told the FDA it plans to conduct a retrospective review of complaints involving serious injury or death and conduct additional training on complaint handling by May. Nearly 4 in 10 people with type 2 do not take their medications as prescribed. Researchers looked at existing studies on medication adherence, and they think about 38% of people with type 2 are missing the full dose. Adherence rates vary depending on the type of medication. About 63% of patients take oral glucose-lowering drugs as directed. That drops to 43 to 54% for injectable GLP-1s and 41 to 64, wide margin, for insulin. The review highlighted ways to improve adherence, simplifying medication routines like using fixed-dose combo pills, and having pharmacists review medications, set up reminders, and helping patients organize their treatments. The review concludes that a personalized, multi-step approach lasting at least 3 months is the most effective. New clinical trial shows metformin does not directly reverse insulin resistance in people with type 1. Instead, it lowers the total amount of insulin required to keep blood glucose levels within the recommended range. The findings in the journal Nature Communications challenge long-held assumptions about how metformin works in type 1. We've got a lot of tech news ahead, including updates from Sensonics, Dexcom, and Tandem, right after this.
From the very beginning, they mean everything to you, and that means you'd do anything for them, especially if they're at risk. So when it comes to type 1 diabetes, screen it like you mean it. Even if just one person in your family has type 1, you are up to 15 times more likely to get it too. Screen it like you mean it, because one blood test could help you spot type 1 long before you need insulin. Talk to your doctor about how to screen for type 1 diabetes, because the more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com.
Back to the news now. And as I said, a bunch of technology updates for you. Sensonics shares that it's secured FDA investigational device exemption for its self-powered, battery-enabled Gemini sensor. It has enrolled the first patients in this trial, expects to complete that in the second half of this year. Gemini builds on their implanted CGM to put the transmitter under the skin, as well as the sensor. Medtronic Diabetes is now officially MiniMed, a standalone public company. Medtronic acquired MiniMed 25 years ago and announced last May that it would spin the diabetes business off. In their statement, the company points out MiniMed is the only diabetes tech company to sell both insulin pumps and CGMs. Kevin Sayre is heading back to Dexcom. The former CEO is back in his position as executive chair of the board. He had stepped away for a medical leave. This comes just a few days after Dexcom announced a new board member, and that's Rick Osterloh. He serves as the senior vice president, platforms and devices at Google, where he oversees Android, Google Play, Google's hardware portfolio, including Pixel phones, Google Nest devices, and Fitbit wearables. Sequel MedTech announced broad national availability of the Twist automated insulin delivery system powered by Tidepool. They were cleared last year. They had a controlled launch, but they say it is now fully available nationwide. And the Twist is available through pharmacy channels with what they're calling a flexible access model designed to expand access to this AID system. Tandem Diabetes Mobi AID system is now available with Android devices. In November, Tandem announced it got FDA approval for the Android version of the Mobi mobile app. They had a limited rollout before the full launch, which is now underway. And finally, The ATTD conference kicks off this week. It officially starts tomorrow, March 11th. It's happening in Barcelona, Spain. This is the International Conference on Advanced Technologies and Treatments for Diabetes. So there's usually a lot of news that comes out of this conference. A lot of studies are presented, and some news will be made. Follow us on social media. We'll definitely bring you updates, and we'll have much more on this year's ATTD in a future In the News episode. But that's it for now. I'm Stacey Simms. Thanks to my editor, John Buchanan from Audio Editing Solutions. And thank you so much for listening. I'll see you back here soon. Until then, be kind to yourself.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Simms Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.
Did you know all the sounds used to make that song come from a site change with the Omnipod 5 automated insulin delivery system? Pretty cool, huh? With Omnipod 5, pump site changes are simple. The pod lasts up to 3 days, 72 hours, and to change it, you just fill up the pod with insulin, place it on your body, tap a few buttons in the Omnipod 5 app, and you're ready to go. There's no tubing to prime like with traditional insulin pumps, and it's virtually pain-free. So you never have to see or handle the insertion needle. Want to try Omnipod 5 for yourself? Request a free Omnipod 5 starter kit today by visiting omnipod.com/diabetesconnections. Terms and conditions apply. Eligibility may vary.
Did you hear the pod drop?